morning, third graders. Or it could be afternoon if you're watching this at lunchtime. I have Stella here, and you can see her really good today. Yes, she's tired because we went on a run this morning, 5 miles, and so she's going to be sleeping while I read the end of our Door in the Wall. I want to say a special thank you to some kids that I know have been watching these. Because they've told me. So if I don't mention your name and you've been watching them, you can let me know. But I know Sarah has been watching them. I think Jasmine has. Levi and Chloe just let me know that she enjoys watching these. Matthew, I believe, watches them too. And so thank you for watching and listening to Door in the Wall. We're going to finish now also. These beautiful flowers. Some student gave those to me last week. Made my day. She knows who she is. So thank you so much. I wanted you to see them right there. Aren't they beautiful? And they smell good too. Okay, here we go. Oh, we just finished with the Welsh being defeated, right? They were driven out of town by Sir Hugh and all of his knights, and so the palace of Sir Peter is saved. Here's Stella, she's laying down right here. Are you sleepy? Are you going to listen to this? Okay, here we go. Okay, John, no, I ended over here. The days grew short and very cold. Everyone went about with a red nose and a cloud of frozen breath. Robin was glad of the woolen gloves made for him by Lady Constance. They were snug and warm and decorated with needlework on the back. The river ran more slowly now, and ice began to form along the edges. Robin stopped swimming and took his exercise in other ways. The harp was finished. Robin had learned how to tune it by tightening the strings and could play it a little. Brother Luke was teaching him to sing a carol, because it was near to the feast of Christmas. There would be singing and caroling in the hall, and Robin remembered his father's letter and hoped that Christmas would bring his father and mother to the castle. One day before the feast of Thomas the Apostle, and after the feast of St. Lucy, which was the 13th of December, Robin was with Sir Peter in the armory. The coats of mail, the helmets, the lances, pikes, bows, and arrows were being put in order, and the great two-handed sword hung on the wall. "See you here," said Sir Peter. "This is where the blows struck my helmet. There is a dent as large as a basin." He rubbed his head where the helmet had been thrust in. Robin ran his fingers around the ugly cavity, imagining how it would feel to be struck with a mace. He was thinking of his father and wondering whether he too had been wounded. "Will the Scottish wars have ended, do you think?" he asked. "I have had no word directly," answered Sir Peter. "There have been rumors about that troops of returning soldiers have been seen. Some were going southward along the high road. John Go-in-the-Wind might tell us if he were here, but he has not been near the castle for weeks. I dare say he is busy building shelter for his new flocks and gathering wood for the winter, that his old mother may be warm." Robin said no more, but after that he went often to the top of the keep. That's where they can look out over, all of the town, the top of the keep, to scan the countryside for signs of horsemen. Sometimes he could see nothing for fog or rain. Sometimes the air was crisp and clear, and he could see far beyond the hills. Once a cloud of dust on the road moving toward the town kept him excited for an hour, but it proved to be only a flock of sheep being driven to market. Once a company of lancers appeared, but they turned southward. On the afternoon of the eve of Christmas, so this is Christmas Eve, Robin was at his post on top of the keep with Adam Boyer, who was on watch. It began to snow. Robin watched while the silent whiteness covered the hills and the roofs of the town. Suddenly, Adam Boyer cried, "Look! Look yonder. He pointed east, where the road led into the high road and to the town gate. Robin left the north side of the tower and joined Adam, looking toward where he pointed. The snow dimmed what he saw, but it was clear enough. A company of knights and men at arms rode toward the castle. At the head rode the king, for only he wore the royal colors and the royal quarterings of the banners. At his side rode one who sat on his horse as only Robin's father did. In the midst of the great company were ladies, pikemen, men-at-arms, and yeomen. That must be the queen. Was it the Lady Maud there beside her in the center? It must be. Robin burst into a cheer. Now, Lady Maud is his mother, and remember, she went to go help the queen, for the queen was ill, and so Robin's mother went to go and be with her and help her. And her name is Lady Maud. It is true, he shouted. It is true. The Scottish wars are over, and my father is alive. He must say nothing about his mother, for fear Adam would think him babyish. He dashed down the winding stair as fast as he dared, crossed the inner ward to the hall, thump, slip, and then to the solar to find Sir Peter. Thump, slip, thump, slip, thump, slip. Remember, he's walking on crutches, so that's kind of how it sounds. Sir Peter roared with laughter at Robin's attempt to tell him about the approaching company, for he knew from the moment he had seen Robin's shining face the good news. Shall I go to the gate to be there when they enter, do you think? Asked Robin anxiously. Do what seems best, my boy, said Sir Peter. Go stand beside Alan at gate, or stay here by my side. I know what a fever of excitement is in your bones, but do what you most want to do. Robin felt as if he must run to meet the company, must see his father, and feel the comfort of his mother's arms about him. Yet he felt timid about facing either of them. They would find him so changed. If I stand beside you, my lord, they will surely know it is I. If they see me in the courtyard, they may think I am but one of the stable boys. I shall stay here. Come, lad, said Sir Peter, let us go to the window of the tower. There we can see the company cross the drawbridge, and before they have dismounted, we can be back ready to welcome them in the hall at the head of the stair. Ooh, sorry. Before leaving the hall, Sir Peter called Dennis, the page, and sent word to Lady Constance to be ready to greet the noble visitors. He and Robin went quickly up the winding stair to the turret, which is like a little castle, another little castle, overlooking the drawbridge. They reached it in time to hear the pounding of the hoofs on the timbers of the bridge and to see the waving banners. The handsome, erect figure of Sir John de Burford, that was his father, was fitting company for the noble-looking king. And there, now just passing into the courtyard was Robin's lovely mother, the veil of her coif floating and mingling with that of the queen whom she attended. Sir Peter grasped Robin and swung him across his back. They went swiftly back the way they had come and were standing in welcome at the head of the great staircase as the company entered. Who spoke first or what was first said, it would be hard to tell. Robin found himself bowing to kiss his mother's hand, then felt her soft arms about him. Robin, my Robin, she whispered, and for a moment said no more, but only held him close as if she could not let him go. The crutches fell to the stone floor with a great clatter. Robin's father bent to pick them up, laughing to keep from showing how deeply he was moved by the sight of them. He is my son too, he said, gently tugging at the mother's close enfolding arms and holding Robin at arm's length to look at his face. You are grown, he said. Your eyes no longer outrace your chin, as do a child's. You've now the look of a youth. Sir John embraced his son warmly. Nothing was said of crutches, or of misshapen legs, or of ill fortune, or of good. Sir Peter spoke. "Shall we not allow our guests to retire?" "Yes," agreed the king. "Later we shall hear the news of the wars ending and how all have fared this long year. Let us go our several ways and meet again in the hall, for we are spent with weariness and soiled with travel." With another touch of his mother's hand, Robin left the company and went to find Brother Luke and to make himself ready for the audience. There never was such merrymaking as took place in the hall that Christmas Eve. Such ballads sung, such tales told. Branches of holly and spruce decked the hall and filled the air with fragrance. The Yule log burned on the hearth and flaming torches filled the sconces. The king and queen sat enthroned in the great chairs. A tapestry was draped in the screen behind them and rich Eastern carpets beneath. Sir Peter and Lady Constance sat on one side of the king and queen, and Sir John and Lady Maud at the other. Robin entered the hall with Brother Luke as he had been commanded, and at a signal came forward to stand before the throne. He wore a black velvet doublet and carried the Saxon harp on his back. As usual, Dieath, the dog, followed at his heels. Robin felt as though the hall were as long as London Bridge, for when he entered, all was quiet, and his crutches seemed to make a great sound on the stone floor. Servants and courtiers bowed as he passed. What was going to happen? What had the king to say to him? Would his parents leave him and go back to London? At last he reached the throne. The king rose and stood over Robin, lifting from his own shoulders a chain of gold set with medallions of fine workmanship. Then he spoke. "Can you kneel, my son?" he asked. "I can for a little time, sire," answered Robin. "Long enough to say, 'Our Father.'" He dropped to the cushion, supporting himself with one crutch. The friar took the other. "Robin, son of Sir John de Burford," the king said solemnly, "it has been told to us what service you have done for the lord of this castle and me, king of the whole realm of England and France. You are a true son of a noble father. Though but a youth, you have shown courage a man might be proud to call his own." The king spread out the jeweled collar and dropped it onto Robin's shoulders, saying, "This shall be a token of our high regard, and with it go our grateful thanks. Rise, young Robin," he commanded, and himself raised Robin to his feet. Robin was filled with gratitude to the king because now his father could be proud of him. He could not speak for a moment, and indeed knew of nothing to say. But cheers and hand-clapping began to make such a noise and clatter, no speech could have been heard. When the noise had quieted a little, Robin was quieter too. He remembered the carol he had been learning for this very night, and the words came to him. "Sire," Robin began, "I do thank you for this great honor, and I beg you to accept my song of Christmas." He brought forward the little harp he had grown to love and sang this carol. Maybe you're familiar with it. "Come to Bethlehem and see him whose birth the angels sing. Come adore on bended knee Christ the Lord, the newborn King. Gloria in excelsis Deo." When the song was ended, once more the hall rang with shouts and cheers. "Sir Robin! Sir Robin!" Robin found himself standing between his mother and his father. Sir Robin, was it he? "Sir," he addressed his father, "do you not mind that I must go thus bent over and with these crutches to help me walk?" For he must know the worst at once. Gravely, Sir John answered, "The courage you have shown, the craftsmanship proven by the harp, and the spirit in your singing all make so bright a light that I cannot see whether or not your legs are misshapen. So his father is saying that his courage, and that he did, right? He helped save Sir Peter's castle, and his craftsmanship of the things that he had made, including that harp, and his heart, his own heart that sang so cheerfully this song of Christmas. Those were the things that mattered to his father. He didn't care about his legs. He didn't even notice that they were misshapen. As for me, said Lady Maud, the mother, slipping her arm about Robin, what a comfort it will be to know that wars will never claim you, and you can come home, for there is now no need for you to stay here at Lindsay, nor is there further need for me to be with the Queen. She is now in good health. When the feast of Christmas is over, we shall all go home to London. Brother Luke shall come with us to be your tutor, if he will. When the midnight office was said in the church, that's the prayer, the whole household trooped back to the hall where tables were spread for the feast. Platters were heaped with food and carried in by pages and esquires. A giant boar's head came first in order, then pasties and whole suckling pigs, pigeons and geese roasted with feathers on. The meats were followed by flaming puddings and bowls of wassail, chestnuts and apples. Death and the other hounds feasted too, for all the scraps were thrown into the rushes on the floor. It was nearly dawn when Robin felt himself lifted onto Brother Luke's back, for he had fallen asleep. "Where am I?" he asked in bewilderment. "What has happened?" "You are here, Sir Robin," said the friar, "safe with all thy loved ones. 'Tis the feast of Christmas, and thou hast found the door in thy wall." Oh, I love how that ends. And I hope and pray, that is my prayer for all of you third graders, that you will find your door in the wall, your purpose in life. And of course, you'll find that as you follow after the Lord with all your heart, soul, and mind. He will show you your doors in the wall throughout your life. All right, you guys, thanks for joining Stella and me, and have a blessed day.